We all know the most important part of running, the snot rocket. My basic run starts at 7,000 feet. The first 3/4 of a mile is uphill. It kind of feels like hell every single time. But look at where I get to run. Not bad. But most importantly is my sunglasses match my shoes. Nice, long, paved, gradual downhill. It's nice. Try not to run on the pavement, but it's probably only half a mile. Bluebirds, woodhouse scrub jays, crows, red-tailed hawk, juniper titmouse. What else? Robins. That's about it today. It doesn't take much to get that runner's high that everybody talks about. If I run or cycle in the morning, I just feel so good the rest of the day. I have so much energy, my head feels clear, and I don't eat as much, which is kind of ironic, but it doesn't take much. I think a 3.5 mile trail run, which is about what I just did, is equivalent to at least a 10K on the road. And I think it's one because you're at so many ups and downs, but it's the micro movements your body has to adjust to as you're running on the trail, which is uneven and steep and loose. And it's just a lot harder than running on the road, but it's way more fun for me to run trail than it is. I don't run on the road unless I absolutely have to. You want the good news or the bad news? Let's start with the good news. The good news is I'm filming on a GoPro Hero 11 Black, with the creator kit and a Sennheiser MKE 200 microphone on the side, which is nicely and neatly tucked off to the side, which means I even have my little fill light on at the top. You probably can't see it out here. It's pretty bright. That's the good news. The good news is I have this unit now, and I am going to be filming my face off. Every single agonizing, excruciating detail of my life I'm going to share. The reason I got the GoPro is that I realized on these films that I have to make, I cannot physically shoot enough B-roll to cover my bases. I just can't, and that means with the Fuji cameras. I love the Fuji cameras. I love them for stills. I love them for motion when I'm stationary. I just shot some moving motion with the Fujis in New York last week, but it was really challenging. And I still didn't create enough B-roll to make myself happy. So I got the GoPro. The bad news is that I got a GoPro Hero 11 Black with a creator kit and a Sennheiser MKE 200 microphone, which means I'm hiding my vehicle, which means I'm going to be filming and shooting my face off and sharing every agonizing, painful, meaningless detail. I just had 2 tacos, but here's the only silver lining. This morning my plan was to use the GoPro Hero 11 Black with the creator kit and the Sennheiser MKE 200 microphone as I went for my morning run. And then I forgot it at the house until I was a half mile out, and I was too lazy to go back and get it. And then I thought, I got to get blood drawn. So I know what I'll do. I'll take the GoPro Hero 11 Black with the creator kit and the Sennheiser MKE 200 microphone and the fill light, and I'll take it and I'll film myself getting my blood drawn if the person's cool and lets me do it. And then I forgot the GoPro at home. So the only silver lining is I'm still not a filmmaker. So the agonizing, excruciating details of every meaningless part of my life is probably still going to be pretty limited. And for that, you can thank me. Hey kids, little update here. Some of the zillions of small things that I'm working on. As I mentioned, I'm about to hit 10 cities in 3 weeks before I go to Albania. And then 2 days after I come back from Albania, I'm teaching 3-week online creative pursuit, blurb, portfolio, and branding course. It's 2 hours on June 13th, 2 hours on the 20th, 2 hours on the 27th. It's $60, but you get a $60 coupon after it's over to print a portfolio with blurb. So it's a wash, and it's pretty good. So we got 6 hours. We got 2 guest speakers. Esha Kyokyo is coming in on the second class, and Sibylla Smith on the third class. So that'll be great. And it's a way more comprehensive portfolio class than you're probably thinking about, because I can't stand to just do a regular portfolio class. This has to be more about like how a modern portfolio can look compared to what it used to look like, all the different options, and basically like what it means to show a portfolio. And if you were on the Blurb Town Hall yesterday, you will know that all 4 of the panelists, when I asked them about printed portfolios, they all said, heck yeah, I use a printed portfolio because it has a completely different resonance than a digital portfolio. So I am in the midst of, let me think, I just wrote 6 different interview scripts. I just wrote 2 scripts for From the Van with Dan films. I've got a script for my hometown film. I'm still working on my film for the photographer from New York. The photographer Santa Fe film is done, but I have to wait for this photographer to get back from being on a trip. And so I'm now prepping for this class that starts on June 13th. So I've done all the presentation for June 13th. I've done all the presentation for June 20th, but I'm also in the background building a variety of different portfolios. And this is one of them that I wanted to show you, and just sort of some of the things that I'm mocking up, and also kind of just showing you some things about the Blurb software that you may or may not know, and some things I like and don't like. So, hey, let's get started. So I'm mocking up varieties of different covers, and this is a cover with a white background. This is a little fictitious AG23 portfolio from my work in Sicily. And then there's a black with AG logo on the back, and then a Sicily in the front. Again, these are quick mock-ups, so like this typeface is not something I would use. I'm not sure this placement, the size looks too large. All these things are just kind of mock-ups. When you're making a book or any kind of publication, it's just non-stop revision. So you're trying. I have an idea in my head, and you're trying things. This is probably the one that I like the most. It's pretty simple. I do like just leaving this image alone, and I also don't like. I do like not having the title, because
it's a little bit mysterious. People see this image and they do not know what to think. And when I've shown this in public before, I always ask the audience what they think about this image to give me single words that describe it. And the number one word I get response is mysterious. And that's what I want, because if you've got something simple and easy read, a clean image on the cover that's mysterious, it's enough to get people to open the book. I like the simple logo placement here, and then also if somebody just picks up the book from the back, they're going to see AG23. And as we move into the pages, there's a couple of things that I wanted to show you that I think are interesting based on human physicality and the reality of how people consume things. So a portfolio, for the most part, depending on what you're using it for, let's say that you're going to a portfolio review. You've got 20 minutes with a professional who has, chances are, looked at many portfolios before, and they're going to make a decision very, very quickly about the quality of your work. After they've done that, chances are they're going to look at how you're dressed. They're going to look at your haircut, your clothes, how you speak, what else you're interested in, what else you can talk about. It's a psychological game that you may or may not know you're involved in, but it's happening. And if you're really good, they'll text other reviewers behind your back and tell them that you're coming and that you're good. And if you're bad and unprepared, they will also say the same thing. If you walk up with an iPad with 500 images in a gallery, you are going to be basically like the plague of 1918. You're going to kill off the entire portfolio review, and no one's going to want to look at your work. So what I've done here, this is the first page of the book that you would open. Most of the time I leave it blank to give the front matter of the book, just a little breathing room. But in this case, because it's a portfolio-specific book, I've had my logo here again in case they somehow missed it on the front and the back, and believe me, people will. So, and it has the mission statement. AG23 is a self-published zine with a mission statement to promote understanding through dialogue and art. Pretty simple. Then I've hit them on the head with a blunt instrument, which is portfolio. Yes, you are looking at a portfolio. And oh, by the way, that's me. And here's a little bio of me, and here's my contact information right here. You could put a logo, but I've already got mine. This is a portfolio for AG, even though I'm just fictitiously using my Sicily work to mock it up. There is something here, that a design element that I thought might be interesting, which is the line tool from this circle to that circle. That might actually be kind of interesting. That might work. It might just add some little extra element to it. Not bad, not necessary, but I don't know, kind of like it. I think I'll leave it. So basically what you've got here when I go to manage pages, this is a very simple, straightforward, you're looking at my imagery, seeing whether or not I know how to handle a camera. So if we go up here to preview, I've now hit them with the scene setter image. This is sequenced in a very specific way, okay? Let me go back and I'll show you why that is. If I start with this image, which again, this is a city built on a hilltop, right? Sicily was invaded by everyone, and they built cities on hilltops so they could see who was coming next. We don't do that in the States. So this will place this story automatically. I've also put Sicily here reversed out, just kind of subtle, but because look, people, when they look at your portfolio, they could be thinking about something else. They will completely miss all of this. Trust me, it's happened a million times. I did not start with this image. This image in the United States can be misconstrued very quickly because Americans see this and they think of what? Yeah, they think of the worst case scenario. These are Italian Catholics in Sicily, so this has nothing to do with what Americans would envision when they see this. So I cannot start with this image, or I'm dead before it takes off. And that has happened to me at a portfolio review when I had that image too far up in the front. So let's say we go here and I hit them with the Sicily, and then for those of the reviewers who actually want to know the story, and this is a fictitious body of copy, again, the title, Sicily. So they've now had two chances to understand. Halfway through the portfolio, I'll still get people that say, where is this, Spain? Is this Philippines? Because they will have ignored all of this. So single image on a page. This is not about multiple images on pages. This is a portfolio that is designed for you to figure out if I am a decent photographer. Now, there's something else here. See this image? Looks very silvery. I do like the tonal range. I like the contrast, but watch this. This is with the auto adjust on. Look at it with it off. Now, that's more of what I kind of envisioned in the field because I'm specifically shooting backlit to show off the highlight of these wings. The wings are really what makes it. But I actually like this, what the software sees, because it's really opened up the shadows. I kind of like both of them, but I do like the silvery look that this has. So if we go back here, I'm basically saying, okay, if you're interested in the narrative, here's the story. And then I am just hitting them with a parade of what I think are the best images. These are images that showcase my ability as a photographer. How I see light, how I see composition, what my timing is. With material choices, this is all shot on TMZ 3200. That butterfly in the right-hand corner, by the way, is real. That's a total 1 in a million image here. Again, this is another one that the image enhance really popped this open. This looks a little muddy, and I did not prep these files for this book. I just randomly pulled them in. So I get why the software is doing this, but it's a little too much because you see these dark areas down here. I'm starting to see the grain, the silver in the film, and that's not what I want. So I would pull those dark areas a little darker, but you're kind of seeing the basic layout. And again, I'm just saying this is the best photography that I can show you from this project. That's it. That's what this portfolio is about. This portfolio is not about my life history. It's just about this one body of work, and I'm trying to show it off. Now, here's what I did at the end. You're like, Milner, you're a genius. But we already knew that. Manage pages. Remember what I said at the front? When I started at the front of the book, we go all the way up here, and I started with the logo, and then I went to the portfolio page. Guess what I did at the end? I repeated the same thing at the end. You know why I did that? Because the vast majority of people in the world are right-handed, and they will open your book from the back, not the front. So if you think you've spent all this time developing your beloved front matter of the book up here, thinking, okay, and this is important, because if you get someone who's good and they look at it the way that they're supposed to look at it, yes, you're going to hit them with this amazing narrative of images in the order that you've sequenced them. But a lot of people aren't perfect, and a lot of people are lazy, and a lot of people who are right-handed put that book in their left hand and they open it with their right, and they start at the back. So you're also going to want to start with the logo in the back, the portfolio, your contact information. You want to double it up because you don't want them to miss it if they skip the front of the book. You also want these first couple of images to really resonate at the back as hey, this is some of the best stuff I've done. So if I was going to redo this, I'd probably go here, and I would probably put this image at the back because this image is stronger than this image. So if they happen to look, they're going to see this and be like, wow, that's a pretty solid frame. And if they, start at the front, they're going to get the real narrative. By the way, I got run over when I made this picture. I was like, I'm really smart, and I'm a photography expert, and I was going to shoot, and this guy just missed me. These guys, however, just literally ran me over. It was the closest I've ever come to losing both Leicas at one time. It was literally within another 5 pounds of pressure, and I would have lost both lenses and both Leicas in this moment. But this picture was worth it. I really this is a town I think it's called Ribera in southern part of Sicily. So that is the portfolio that I'm working on. I'm going to be mocking up a bunch of these different things. But I thought I would share because I am, after all, a giver. All right, so I got to cut this vlog. I got to end it. It's time for me to end the vlog for this week. So I will see you somewhere out there.